everyone, and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. Today we're looking at Klára Markova's brand new colouring book. It's the fourth in her series so far, and this is Fairy Celebrations. So as you can see, it looks exactly the same as her previous three books in terms of size, shape and format. So they're going to go really well together on the shelf. I'll just quickly show you her previous books. We have Magical Delights, which was the first one, then Tenderful Enchantments, and then Fairy Miracles. So all of these will go really nicely on the shelf. They've all got this gold foiling on the cover and they're all fabric bound as well. So really high quality books. So let's just get straight into it. So here we go. This is the cover. As you can see, we've got the gold foiling there. Beautiful foiling all the way through the illustration that's on the cover as well. And then on the back, even more foiling, and it's this gorgeous mossy green colour, this one. So the previous books we've had a kind of burgundy red and then a blue and a kind of greenish blue, and now we've got green. So nice colours go together. Right, so we'll open it up, and first of all, you will all receive, when you order this book, a bookmark, which you can colour, as you can see. And then on the back, we have her previous books sort of promoted there. So nice bookmark for you to just slide in the book and find your place easily when you're colouring a work in progress. Nice big colouring bookmark as well. So open it up, and as you can see, it is signed by Klára. I believe all of them will be. Just sit down and don't listen to my creaky chair. So we have the title page here, Fairy Celebrations. As you can see, you can colour it. It has a really sweet little fairy house or gingerbread house, or however you want to look at it. It's just a cute little scene, but it's something that you can colour on the first page anyway. We then have the copyright information here, telling you a little bit about Klára as well. It says that the book has 112 pages, so exactly the same as the other books. You're getting loads and loads of illustration and colouring time for your money. And then we have the book belongs to page, so you can pop your name here and maybe the date that you started the book if you're planning on doing this all the way through. And again, loads and loads to colour on that page as well. Now, Klára's books are helpfully one-sided, so you can use pretty much any media that you decide you want to use, whether that be something wet like alcohol markers or paints, or pencils or what have you. The paper is absolutely perfect for pretty much anything. It is a very high quality, thick, ivory toned paper, and it does have a very light tooth. It's quite smooth, but there is a little bit of tooth there. And yeah, it's perfect for any media really. You'll see later on in the book that I've used pencils in mine, and they blend perfectly on this paper. So yes, it is one-sided, but you do have a little bit of an illustration on the flip side, just where you can put maybe the date that you finished that particular page or any little notes that you want to put about it. But as I've said, if you want to use something heavy that's going to bleed through, it doesn't really matter because you're just sacrificing a very small illustration on the back. So the first one is, I believe, yeah, it's the title page, or the front cover, sorry, as an illustration. So you can colour the cover as well. And as you can see on the back, the illustrations do vary slightly. So here we've got a very sweet little flying bunny and his little fairy friend, and it looks like they're jumping on pillows here, really bouncy pillows. So I don't know, it looks like a really sweet little sleepover or something that she's having with her bunny friend. We've got flowers absolutely everywhere, and obviously with these being fairies and elves and things, they are very small, and the flowers and blooms and trees and things just look massive next to them. So we've got a little elf-like creature here. Looks like we've got a barrel, I think, a barrel full of florals and a little ladder for them to get up to the flowers, so maybe they can water them or prune them or whatever they would normally do. I'm not a gardener, as you can tell. Here we've got a little, looks like a butterfly, but obviously it's anthropomorphic. It is, you know, quite a human-like butterfly. It's got the legs, and it looks like it's carrying a little present. Now, what I really like about this illustration is you can see here we've got these kind of bell-shaped flowers, a little bit like snowdrops, I want to say, probably wrong. And then underneath each flower, you've got the tiny little houses for the fairies, and one's even got a little jelly that's resting on the windowsill. I think it's really sweet. Just gives you that perspective of how small this world is. So this is quite a close-up picture of a little fairy or a little elf. I don't think she's got wings, I can't see any. And again, that little butterfly friend is here. He's bringing the key. She has a pocket watch. And yeah, it's just really little sweet, charming illustrations. There isn't too much of a story to it. It just has this thread all the way through of friendship and nature and sort of fantastical elements. So we've got a cat here. He is surrounded by his little bird friends and he's reading a book. We've got some dragons on this one. So again, bringing that fantasy theme into the illustration. We've got 3 dragons. Looks like they're eating strawberries with their fairy friend. So when you see a page like this, that means that we're going to have a double page spread, but it is still one-sided, so you don't have to worry about it. So here's the double page spread. And this looks absolutely stunning. Look at this waffle cone ice cream. What have we got? We've got, these look like jelly beans, I think. And then this looks like a massive Jolly Rancher or something, in a big sweet in the background. And then we've got a, what do they call them? Ferris wheel. We've got a Ferris wheel, and the seats of the Ferris wheel are these little seeded pod flowers. It's all so imaginative. I really don't know how Klára manages to come up with all of this, but this looks a little bit like a carnival or a fete or a fair. Looks like they're all having fun anyway. We've got another dragon here, and he looks like he's bringing his little cakes and treats back from the fair in a bag. And I love how he's got a little lollipop stuck into his little band around his ankle there. Very sweet. Now we've got a frog, and the frog is sat on a leaf. I'm just trying to figure this out. I have looked through the book, obviously, but it's like you have to look again and again to get all of the details. So we've got a frog sat on a leaf. We've got a couple of snails, actually, and then these sweet little tiny... like little, what do you call them, like little worlds inside very small jars. I know there's a word for them. It's like a little ecosystem. I know what I mean. And then we've got lanterns and a little fairy sleeping on the floor. I get kind of weirded out about describing books now, because I've had a few comments saying don't go on and on describing every single page, we can see, we're not blind. But then I also have a load of other comments, people saying they love me to just describe everything. So couple of birds here. These are really beautiful birds. They don't look like any bird I've ever seen. Very, very nice. And we've got a little fairy on the branch, and this looks like the sweetest little bird nest. It's got a little pillow, there's some moss to pad the nest out. Just really beautiful. Like even these bows, very luxurious. So we've got a horse and her foal. That's what it looks like. Oh, it's actually a unicorn. You can see they've got the horns here, and they're just chilling. There's nothing really going on in this picture. We've got a swan and the cygnet. So this swan is obviously the swan queen, and the cygnet is holding the key. I don't know what this key is for. Maybe we'll find out later on in the book. We keep seeing this recurring theme of keys. So this is an underwater mermaid, and how sweet. We've got, it looks almost like a fairy with the leaves and the petals for the clothes, and then it just turns into a beautiful mermaid's tail. Really, really like this one. This looks like a perfume bottle. It's got that squeezy perfume bottle thing on it. I am so cohesive today, aren't I? Coherent, can't even say the right word. This is an underwater one as well. We've got a little shell house, very cute. Again, we've got this key. What is this key going to open? I don't know. This is a really sweet little seahorse, and we've got one of those lamp fish. This looks like a nighttime scene. It looks like, oh yeah, she's holding the lampfish as her lamp. So it looks like she's going through the forest at night. We've got a lot of light sources here, candles and things. But it's also underwater. We've got the jellyfish and the fish in the background, the seahorse here. So it's kind of like an underwater nighttime walk around. Maybe she's having a little midnight stroll underwater. Again with the mermaids, this is kind of the section of the book with all the underwater stuff, I guess. And this mermaid has got a little girl. She's just playing around under the water. We've got an octopus here that has what looks like a shower cap on. Just really funny to have a shower cap underwater. What else? So these, what are these? These could be pearls or oysters or something like that. I don't know. Really sweet illustration. I keep saying sweet because that is the #1 descriptive word of this book. It is very, very sweet and charming. So we've got the mermaid again, and this looks like a dress that's floating under here. And I love these little posies around the neckline and the waist of the dress. I don't know whether she's getting married or what's going on, but it's really nice. And you don't often, a lot of these images by Klára, they are really, really original and inventive. Like, you don't normally see you know, dresses floating underwater or a mermaid picking out her attire for the day, you know. It's really original. So what have we got here? This looks like sewing. So we've got a reel of cotton, we have some rope and some tassels. So this, oh, it's a purse. So you see how the little raspberry clasp here, it's a purse clasp. And just trying to figure out what's going on. She's got a pin cushion, so I'm guessing that she is sewing this purse. Maybe it's a purse to go with the dress for the wedding, I don't know. This is really sweet. Look, we've got a little baby fairy or a little baby elf tucked up in bed with her little teddy. We've got one playing the flute down here, and the flute turns into berries and leaves. Again, just super, super original. We've got a caterpillar here, and again some lamps if you want to practice your light sources. So this is just a house, a fairy house. There's loads of them in Klára's books, but especially in this book, loads of fairy houses, and they all have different architecture styles. So I particularly love the little pipe chimney on this one. It looks like it's all been pieced together from little bits and bobs that have been found throughout the forest. We've got these little butterflies in their pods, and what have we got? We've got some berries. We've got this little pull cart with a big jelly on it. So maybe delivering some treats to, maybe this is where they do the baking and the cooking. So we've got another jelly here on the windowsill. So maybe there's just delivering some treats to the community. So we've got a big jar here full of mushrooms, little mushrooms. And then with the elf on top, she has a fork and what looks like a raspberry. Could be a blackberry. We've got some acorns in the background, some berries. So it's a big jar of mushrooms and berries basically. So it looks like she's been foraging and collecting lots of food to store for the winter, maybe. Oh, this is really sweet. We've got a really cute little puppy who has what could be, it could be a fox or it could be a bear cub or it could even be another puppy, not really sure. Then we've got a couple of mice down here as well. Look at this little flower acting as the blanket, and then a little sweet little fairy in the background. Here we've got what looks like a smoking pipe. So they're using this, they've put wheels on it and they're using it as their mode of transportation. Very clever. Looks like we've got another double page spread coming up. Oh wow, this is a party and a half. As you can see, it's a masquerade ball. So all of the fairies and the creatures are wearing their masks, their eye masks. This one looks a little bit Zorro-ish. It's come with the hat and the fabric across his eyes. What do we have? We've got little sweets everywhere and lollipops and cupcakes. These two are having a whale of a time dancing away. And this one's playing the bass or the cello, or don't ask, it could be a mixture of the two. And what have we got here? Mushrooms. I don't know. Is this a drum? Oh, he's playing the drums. So the mushrooms are the drumsticks. So this is inside a fairy house. We are sat upon a mattress type thing with a teddy bear's picnic going on, looks like. So we've got the teddy bear, we've got the little macarons or cupcakes or whatever they are. And yeah, so it's just a little peek inside the fairy house. This is the bathroom, obviously. We've got the bath. It has beautiful little petals and flowers on top of the water. How sweet. Sweet again, there you go. Most used word in a video ever. I really like how it's kind of the old style Victorian bathtub as well, and the jug with the bowl, how you would usually have a, you know, a strip wash or whatever in the olden times. Another fairy house that you can colour here. This one has mushrooms growing out of the top of it. And we've got these little butterflies bringing tiny weeny hearts to decorate it with. This is almost like a little Red Riding Hood type thing. She's got a cape on with a hood. She's holding a branch that is holding up a bat who also is holding a key. So really, really intrigued to find out, if we do find out, what this key is all about. Another fairy house. So this one almost looks like castle ruins. You can see it's made out of brickwork or blocks, and these little ants are using their combined strength to carry a rather large cake or macaron to the house. Maybe they're having a little tea party, I don't know, but I particularly love this tiny little cat just silhouetted in the background there. This is a elf, I think, or it could be a fairy. He's got wings. Let's just say it's a fairy because it's called Fairy Celebrations, and it really is a book of celebrations. That is the kind of the running theme throughout the whole book. We have a beehive here just positively dripping with sumptuous honey. We have some, these could be cherries, but they look slightly oddly shaped, but they do also look like cherries, I'm not sure. And again, just foraging for fruits and collecting them up. This one's a really sweet little romantic image. We've got some couples here. This one is sat on what looks like the moon, but it's just a swing that's tied to a tree with a ribbon. And we've got the little ladybird couple, we've got the little bug couple, and then we've got the fairy couple. I can imagine this done in very delicate, very soft tones, and just a very, very romantic image. This fairy house is overrun with mushrooms. I'm not really sure if that roof could hold up to the weight of these, but I guess they know what they're doing, these fairy constructors. We've got a very domestic scene, so we've got a little bowl of soup or a little cup of tea on the windowsill. We've got the washing out for the day blowing away in the breeze. We've got a little water butt barrel and some little nuts that have been collected. Yeah, again, with the key, who knows what it means. This is a hugely winged fairy. So these are massive wings. Maybe she's like a fairy queen or something. She's got these gigantic wings. And she's just with her moth friend, I guess. I don't really know what they're up to. These could be little fireflies maybe. But the best thing about this is her ballet slippers. I really love these. It's like they're crisscrossed with pearls and then ribbon at the top. So it looks almost as if we have a sing-song going on here. We've got the main fairy in the centre with her flower crown, and then we've got all her friends around her having a good old sing-along. Another nighttime scene. We've got a really cute little man in the moon. We've got a wolf howling at the moon. We've got that little cat silhouetted again, this time riding on a broomstick. Love it. We've got the little fairy house that's set on top of... Oh, this is weird. So this is set on top of what looks like a plank of wood or something, some sort of timber construction. But then the feet are of an animal origin. It could be an eagle or a frog or a bird. I'm not really sure. I'm looking for a face or a head, but there isn't one. It's very, very odd. And it also looks like it's moving. So I guess you can just pick up your home and move it wherever you want. It's kind of handy, I guess. Next we've got, oh, this could be an eagle actually, or it could be a crow or a raven or something like that. Got the big fluffy wings and the gigantic beak. And I guess this is the fairy's friend. There's a lot of kind of animal pairs going on in this. So you'll have a fairy and then you'll have her animal counterpart, I suppose. Now then, so we're looking into a tree trunk here. You can see that we have the cutout window. We've got the little fairy beds. Obviously there's berries and fruit absolutely everywhere, and we've got a little fire going on as well. This looks like an older fairy. She's wearing a really nice sort of homemade tunic going on here. She's got a rope tied around the waist. She has a hat that is just full of tiny fairy houses and mushrooms. So, I mean, how small even must the tiniest fairies be to get into the house on her head? And she's carrying another little sort of pipe contraption on wheels with all of her potions inside. So I'm kind of going to guess that this may be a white witch. It's kind of the vibe that it's giving off to me anyway. Okay, we've got another double page spread. So what are we celebrating this time? Well, we've got a couple of cats here. Again, with the witch theme, we've got the witch's hat. And they look like they're roasting or toasting fruits on the fire. So we're around the campfire. We're having a good time, maybe telling stories, maybe singing. And then over here we've got the little witch girl again, and even the fruits have faces. It's all incredibly fantastical. we've got some candy down here with little ghosts and bats on them. So I'm guessing this must be a Halloween get-together. So they've all been out trick-or-treating. Now it's time to go and get round the campfire, maybe tell some scary stories. So I think we're moving into winter now. We're starting to see gingerbread men and holly and things that we would associate with the festive season. So we've got that fire roaring, we've got a mushroom toasting there over the flame. This is obviously inside a fairy's house. We've got a little framed photograph on the wall, and we're opening gifts. Also in the foreground here, we've got what looks like a dog and a mouse just playing together, but the dog is actually a rocking horse type thing. So who knows if that's a real dog or if it's a toy. I don't think we know at this stage. Anything can be anything in this book. And then we've got all the big treats laid out on the picnic rug. So we've got a Christmas carol sing-along here with some owls, I think. They look like owls to me. And the little girl, I think, just joining in. It looks like she's got some mistletoe or some sort of thing. And we've got the key down here as well. And obviously on the back of all these pages, as I've mentioned, you've got these little illustrations as well. These ones are turning more festive. So here we've got a squirrel ice skating because, you know, that's what squirrels tend to do. In the background we've got some mushroom houses, loads of sweets and lollipops and gingerbread cookies, Christmas cookies and gifts and baubles as well. Yeah, so really nice ice skating scene. I can see people trying to create that ice effect. This is, oh, it's like a hot chocolate or a hot cocoa. We've got the cinnamon rolls in there, just sweetening up the cocoa. We've got some cupcakes, we've got a jelly, we've got a whole trove full of presents here in the background, and again loads and loads of sweets and cakes. And then this is the one that I finished. As you can see, this is one I finished last night. I coloured this whilst watching Supernatural, which is generally where I can be found when I'm colouring. Haven't quite got to the end of that series yet. It just seems to be taking forever on season 12, in case you're wondering. So coloured this with Prismacolors, and that's it really, Prismas only, and just used a little bit of white ink just to do the little dots and the shine on all of the baubles and things. The thing that I most love about this are these Christmas logs here, these chocolate logs with the raspberry ganache filling, because I used the white gel pen to try and create the powdered sugar look, and also the combination of colours that I used on this do make it look like it has the sugar kind of rubbed into it. I think I used dark brown and, oh, what did I use? I'll tell you what, I'll put it up on the screen so that I can check it afterwards. Definitely used dark brown and I think putty beige, but there was another colour in the middle. So yeah, as you can see, just turned out beautifully. Really like how it's come out. It's very festive. It's very bright and bold, as usually my colourings are. I don't usually do things delicately or lightly. So yeah, I hope you enjoy looking at that anyway. People have asked for a tutorial of how I do the gingerbread men, so maybe I'll come back and colour one of these in real time so that you can see what colours I use and how I do it. Very easy. Moving on, we have another whole neighbourhood here of fairy houses. These look like they're made out of gingerbread or out of some sort of biscuit, you know, like how you get those kits at Christmas where you can make your own gingerbread house and decorate it. Another double page spread coming up. So I'm guessing this is Christmas Day because the toys are absolutely everywhere. We've got kids everywhere. We've got, mind you, I say kids, these are actually dolls, I think. You know what, again, they could be. We've got the fairy here, she's got a gingerbread. We've got a little bug that's asleep. So some people are asleep in this kind of collection of bunk beds here. Some are awake still, playing with their toys, and there's just toys everywhere. We've got this fairy kind of father sat on his rocking chair, holding, you know, I don't know what this is. It's a tree trunk with a head, so, you know, make of that what you will. Then we've got the mother and daughter just snuggled into this really very snuggly looking nest. In the background we've got a fire with a teapot just warming over the flame, and yeah, just really cute little scenes. This one, they're doing some painting, so we've got a little set of pan watercolours here, again with the key. We've got a tube watercolour, fairy colour number 4 it says, and they're painting. What are they painting? These decorations here, I guess. I don't know what they're made out of. I thought they were cookies, but maybe they're made out of wood. Okay, so we've got to the end of the book. Look how much you have to colour. I mean, this is just incredible. There's a little poem here, or a little verse, and then we have a little illustration for you to colour at the top. But then we move on to what Klára usually includes in her books, which is the little cutout doors that you can place on some of the illustrations in the book that we've already seen. So we've got the lid, which I'm guessing is for that treasure trove of presents that we saw not too long ago. You cut that out and you glue your tab so that the lid can open up and reveal what's inside. Same with the door. And that's it. That is the book. So, information that you'll need to know. The cost, first of all. This book is £23.68 in GBP. It is a substantial cost for a colouring book, but I think you'll agree, along with the quality and the amount of illustrations you've got, it is definitely worth saving up for. In US dollars, that's $29.46. And there's 112 pages, as I've mentioned already. It's 25 by 21 centimetres, exactly the same size, shape and format as her previous books. And you can get it from her Etsy page, which I will be linking in the description. Obviously, with those costs for the book, you've got your shipping price on top of that. So it definitely probably, there's a not a hyperbole. Okay, shut up, Claire. It's an oxymoron. What was I saying? It's something you're going to have to save up for. Yeah, so I really hope that you've enjoyed this rambly review. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do give it a thumbs up because that helps more people find the video. I think that's what YouTube reckon anyway. And I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.